So every tree we keep on the land, every tree that is not cut down, every plant helps to bring every drop of rain into the ground. Every drop of rain is precious at this time, yeah. And our heart goes out to you. Thank you. One last question.
Thank you so much. Christine from Uganda.
Sorry.
Yes, I coordinate the Parliamentary Forum on Climate Change. Yeah.
Can you stand up so we can, yes, there you are.
Thank you so much. Yes, what you have shared with us actually is the most adequate and appropriate, the principle of inclusiveness. But when we come to mitigation, again, when we take it that everyone's effort counts, then it turns out to be double counting. And the question of double counting, then that's what comes in. So somehow that one again takes us to reliability on the national efforts and not individual efforts. So the issue of inclusiveness is still a question under mitigation. Thank you.
Now, on the mitigation part, now I cannot speak on other countries. Within our own system, we do have our own task force to look at what are the activities that are taken into account. So once you bring onto the board, probably the issue of double counting cannot, in our context, happen. We do take note of the concern, but in our own context, it is something that we can say that it will not happen. But definitely is a concern in many parts of the region. Thank you.
So I would like to just give one moment for a last comment or question, but you'd have to keep it very short. And we might not answer it, but at least to hear it.
Okay, well, thank you, I guess. My question is, how do we translate or connect what's going on here at COP, the international and national levels, down to the community level and local level? Because I agree that community empowerment is really important, but how do we connect all of these different levels and ambition?
Well, just really short, we have developed something called the adaptive governance cycle to show how community-led design and action can be integrated with regional sustainable development strategies and in the end influence national. Actually, what happened in Senegal, the National Ecovillage Development Program started off with 45 villages on the ground coming together as Gen Senegal and doing something that the government saw was strong, different, self-empowered. And the government learned from this and created a set of policies to support such development. So I think we need to bring the two together. We need to have governments work with communities on the ground. Yeah?
I think if you recall the slide, it seems to me this is the critical issue that we have to address. How to get local communities at the center of the discussion. It means dialogue, it means transparency, it means openness, because we're convinced that communities can and are providing solutions if they're given a chance. And of course, one of the major problems actually, and if you look at the debates here, outside this room, finance. How many of these wonderful finance instruments that are being created for climate funds of this of one sort or another, how many of them are focused on trying to provide direct support to communities? I think there's a real paradigm shift needed to put communities right at the center of the process in political terms and also in financial terms, so that the appropriate financial instruments are made available to really drive community involvement, because we all know without communities, there is no sustainable development.
So with those words, we end this first half of this side event. And thank you so much for your attention and your time. We'll be available afterwards and also at our booth for more questions. And we're totally excited now about the coming presentations. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Christine.
Next round.
So, yes. So sustainable energy, we've been working on a similar concept, but we have been taking the issue that many of our organizations in INFORSE has been working on local solutions, more initially in insulation, like improved cook stoves, like rural lighting, like biogas. And now they're seeing that these things to really give development in the countries and in villages which need it, we need to combine it, and we'll have stronger if we have them combined, and we current that the Ecovillage development. And after this short, quick presentation from this, we will continue with learning more about renewable energy and transitions to 100% renewable energy on a larger scale. But this next 20 minutes will be about the Ecovillage development as we see it as a development paradigm and development concept, which we hope could also win more support also at the climate funding and at the climate regime, and that's why we're here. So I'll have to give the word to K.Myles, who will start up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is K.Myles, and I represent INSETA and the ENFORSE-South Asia Network. To begin with, the Ecovillage Development Program has been implemented in 4 countries in South Asia, and you will realize it bears many similarities to the GEN program that you just heard about. We have 21 villages, and from those villages, these are certain best practices and certain learnings that we have together come up with based on energy access and improved livelihoods. So I'm going to be presenting those learnings to you today. And hopefully these can be extrapolated to other parts of the world as well. So to begin with, the first slide that you see really talks about, just quickly defines the components of EVD as we practice it in our countries, which basically says you give rural inhabitants access to renewable energy technologies, livelihood solutions, training for capacity building, community participation, and most important of all, you tie it together with gender mainstreaming. Next slide, please. Like a lady in the audience had asked, how do you tie this up together? Well, we do have ideas of how to tie this up with the Paris Roadmap as well as SDGs, which some of my other panelists are going to speak about. So to begin with, how does the EVD provide solutions for energy access and enhancing livelihoods? Now, on the slide that you see, next slide, is 6 technologies. The top 3, an improved cook stove, biogas, solar cooking, represent 3 typical technologies for energy access. Now, these are rural communities which are generally off the grid or have very erratic energy supplies. These are technologies that have been tried and tested in them and are just 3 of a bundle of energy access technologies that have mitigation and adaptation potential. The 3 below that you see are specifically adaptation solutions aimed at enhancing the livelihoods, giving access to food security, as well as providing income generation opportunities to the beneficiaries of the community. For instance, greenhouse technology, organic gardening, they both provide food security, but the surplus is also used to be dried and to be sold in the open market. So that's part of the income generation techniques that we're teaching the beneficiaries about. Now, these are the 5 recommendations that we've had as a result of the last few years of our implementation of this project. How does EVD, Ecovillage development, how does it promote universal clean energy access? First of all, decentralized energy access, which is critical in an area that's underserved by a primary grid. We provide decentralized household access by also offering low-cost solutions, highly simple to operate solutions as well. We share simple technologies. The basic rationale behind this is that for the actual beneficiary and the end user, whatever technology we offer them, like say solar or biogas, should be simple enough for them to operate and to understand as new users, and also to be able to learn how to use and maintain them if required. Then grassroots innovation, very important. At a time when we talk about the paucity of climate finance, we need to look towards alternate sources of innovation and not just hi-fi research institute-led solutions. So we are trying to innovate with grassroots communities as to solutions that work based on participatory need assessments. And finally, we talk about the private sector role, which is really a scaling up strategy that we believe needs to be tapped to bring these solutions to more people. If you monetize it, we can get the benefits of economies of scale as well, and of mass production. Next slide, please. Next, yeah. Oh, sorry, the slide before.
Previous one.
It's a previous slide. Yes. Sorry. And finally, how do we improve livelihoods? So generally speaking, gender mainstreaming, like I mentioned before, it's an important process, not just in the planning process, but in the monitoring and reporting process as well. We make sure that women are included in every step of the way. Generation, like I mentioned before, this is the most important component to stakeholder buy-in. You need to show them that there is value. Capacity building in the form of education about climate change, about opportunities available to them, as well as skill development. And finally, equitable access to developmental resources, which is something that our most vulnerable communities and our target communities do not have. So thank you. With this, I will pass over the mic to my other colleagues. If you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah, and I would like to give the word to Shobna for Center for Rural Technology from Nepal. Please, Shobna, you have the word.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm S.Maharjan, representing Center for Rural Technology Nepal, which is an NGO working in the renewable energy technology sector in Nepal for more than 27 years. And I will be talking about how EVD is helping in developing this eco-village, converting villages into eco-village in Nepal. So EVD is contributing in achieving national and international goals and targets. So the Eco-Village Development Program is developing this climate resilient agro practices to address food security, and it is integrating green energy with agro livelihood as well as optimizing the available local available resources. It is also involving women in selection of EVD solution, as Kavita has mentioned in her presentation. And we are under this program, we are increasing the access to modern energy technology, and we are also improving the education of children regarding the climate change and other issues. Next slide. So as a result of capacity building and awareness campaign, people have now started their repairing biogas, which was destroyed after the earthquake of 2015. They have now started doing wastewater management and micro irrigation, biocomposting, fish pond, cowshed management, plantation of high value crops and fruits. As an adaptation linking with livelihood now in the village where there is abundant water resource, people have now started the fish farming. They have diverted the water from river to their village, and they have now started fish farming. And the place where there is a lack of water, they have started this rainwater harvesting, and they have now also started making brooms with locally available plant. Next slide. in the eco village, in our eco village now, people are using this plastic tunnel and drip irrigation. So they are now planting this water resistant tomato in off season and earning a lot. Next slide, please. However, there are some challenges that some people, they do not know how to use the technology. Hence we believe that schools should be developed as an information center, so that they can get information about climate change, these issues, and renewable energy technology, how it works, and how can they repair and maintain by themselves. And we also believe that climate change should be included in a school level curriculum. This much. Thank you.
Thank you to Shovna and for how you're doing it in Nepal. And then I'd like to give the word to Domindo from IDEA.
Good evening, everyone. I represent an organization which has been working in the rural sustainability sector for over 25 years now, and we are currently working in the eco-village development sector as well. Next slide. Tackling climate change, it's imperative that we have win-win approaches. Now, in that sense, EVD or eco-village development is a win-win approach which improves the lives and livelihoods of people without any compromise on the environment or limited effects on the environment. In the context of Sri Lanka, we are around 80% of the people live in the rural sector. It is imperative that we use the scope of EVD solutions to improve their lives and livelihoods, especially in terms of agriculture and their use of biomass. Next slide, please. Now, following the COP21 agreement, Sri Lanka launched the Sri Lanka Next initiative, which pledges with the mitigation and adaptation strategies in Sri Lanka, while in a holistic manner, where development is taken place, which improves the environment as well. Now, under this initiative, several programs were blossomed, like the 10,000 climate smart villages program. And another program is the non-toxic nation program. Now, linkages with these programs can upscale or scale up EVD to a majority of Sri Lanka. In terms of INDCs and NDCs of Sri Lanka recently submitted the first version of NDCs, which focuses on 14 sectors, which has mitigation, adaptation, loss and damages and means of implementation. But EVD or similar initiatives are not being specifically mentioned in our NDCs. However, since EVD involves and touches many sectors, it's very hard to measure the mitigations or measure the emissions. And if you want to incorporate emissions and or EVD under NDCs, it's imperative that we have a mechanism to measure the mitigations. So because it covers a lot of sectors, not only energy, agriculture, households, rural industries, and many sectors. So it's very important how we quantify the emissions in the roadmap to including EVD as a solution under the NDCs. Now, EVD is a bottom-up approach where the priority is to fulfill the requirement of villagers, farmers, women, and rural communities, and to design solutions in such a way it works for them. So aggregating adaptation mitigation targets across and up comes secondary, because all should start from the local level itself. That's what we believe in. All targets and commitments which are to be incorporated in the NDCs and INDCs should come from the bottom itself. So we have to first fulfill the requirements of the local communities, and we should have a mechanism where we can quantify the mitigations and adaptation practices as well. Thank you.
Then we give the word to Hassan from Grameen Shakti in Bangladesh.
Hello, good evening and Assalamu alaikum. I'm Hassan from Grameen Shakti and Bangladesh. Yes, you'll be here. The Bangladesh is most vulnerable country to climate change. I would not use that word. Bangladesh has shown a pathway for sustainability through installation of 4 million solar home systems within 16 years. That's a history. So that we all of our friends to establish the Ecovillage development, we came here with some evidence, and these are a couple of evidence we have shown here. So that is a solar home system by which you can reduce kerosene fuel, by which you can change your life every day, and definitely free of indoor air pollution. You will hear UNICEF report has been published 31st October this year. So thousands of children die just due to indoor air pollution. So that is one of the tools we are establishing in our village that you can reduce indoor air pollution. And second one, improved cooking stove. Millions of improved cooking stove have been installed in Bangladesh, India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. Definitely, you are going to reduce your indoor air pollution. Same way, you are reducing volume of fuel wood. Biogas plant is a huge number of biogas plant have been constructed in all of the South Asia. You are getting smoke-free kitchen, and not only smoke-free kitchen. After cooking gas, after decomposition of your item, you are getting very good organic fertilizers that you can use for your organic farming. Organic farming is not so much common in my country, but through the Ecovillage development demonstration by the enforced activities, we are sharing our knowledge to each other. So what the pictures I have used here, this is from Sri Lanka, that we are trying in Bangladesh. How money will come? We did not came here with an empty hand. That's the couple of funds that Bangladesh have generated last couple of years. Bangladesh Climate Trust Fund, around 400 million US dollar have been allocated for last 7 years. At least they have proposed some fund. Second one, the central bank. No commercial bank will come forward to work with renewable energy if you work in village area where people do not have any certain monthly income. However, Central Bank, they came forward to do something. They are going to invest 200 million US dollar. Another program, very good program for elimination of poverty, that is Food for Work in Bangladesh, run by Ministry of Disaster Management and Relief. So we are providing some money to the unskilled worker living in the village, and half of the money will go for solar home system, biogas, and improved cooking stove. Yes, it's not our single journey. Lots of multi-donor have given fund to us. That is one of them, Bangladesh Climate Change Resilience Fund. $188 million have been formed by Sweden, Switzerland, European Union as well. Now, yes, we have something, but this is very tiny amount to work in the developing country. For that reason, we are thinking that this Ecovillage development approach you can include as a project proposal for GCF fund. For your example, we are trying our best. Whatever we'll get or not is another issue, but we are working on submission for GCF fund based on Ecovillage development. Definitely, there are lots of funds for mitigation, for adaptation, whatever fund is available, we would try our best to show this Ecovillage development. It's very important to influence all the government agencies to comprehensive this model in their national adaptation or in their national action plan, or 5 years, 10 years, whatever you have, you can propose your Ecovillage development to the government. Everyone who are sitting in the panelists, everyone who are sitting, very nice audience, everyone, we came here to save our environment, including my friends behind IT staff who are just transmitting our voice to rest of the world. Everyone, we are trying our best to save the environment, to save the world. Thank you.
Thank you to Hassan, and then to our last speaker, Santosh from Climate Action Network South Asia. You have the word.
Thank you, Gunnar. So we have heard some wonderful examples of solutions, of climate solutions, which are really able to solve some of the very complicated problems in South Asia, in Africa, in some other advanced countries. So why these things are not going are being scaled up? There are several instruments are needed to make these solutions really solving our problems of the earth. Regional cooperation, one of the instruments which is going to have a larger impact, is going to take care of some of the issues which we are experiencing at regional level. As you must have noticed, that we represent South Asia, and it's one of the most vulnerable regions across the world, after maybe sub-Saharan Africa. Now, we have gathered a lot of capacity over the years. Now, Bangladesh is the storehouse, a powerhouse of adaptation activities. Sri Lanka has gathered, as you have seen, a lot of information, a lot of knowledge on implementing improved cook stoves. India has been has been conducting several eco-village development activities, including what we have been doing. So these informations need to be shared among the needy in regional level, so that these informations can be taken up by other vulnerable areas and solve their own issues. Now, why you should do that? Because climate change issues are really transboundary, cross-sectoral, and are cross-cutting in nature. We have been grappling with issues like glacial lake outburst floods, which is really affecting India and Nepal. If we have floods, which affects India and Bangladesh, and also to some extent in Sri Lanka. So common problems are being experienced, and regional cooperation is going to have the kind of impact we would like to have it. We have kind of underexplored capacity, and we have the resilience to do it. So we should be able to overcome all the climate vulnerabilities by implementing all these solutions across the globe. We have the communities of researchers, academics, policy practitioners, which have been working in this area for quite a long time. So this will be the opportunity, this is the time to have those knowledge, the research, development, demonstration, to be shared along with all of us, so that these things can be really taken up at the ground level. Thank you.
So to Santos, we've come to the end of the short presentation of this activity. We've made a report about it that you can pick up at the end of the room on your way out. And beside that, we'll be available for questions after the next session, or the next part of the session, which will start now, about transition to 100% renewable energy and zero carbon. Please come up here. By the way, my name is Gunnar Boye Olsen. I'm coordinator of INFORSE.